Okay, episode 8. It is May 4th. May the 4th be with you, Brett.
Cinco de Mayo soon.
Ooh, yeah. My friend sent me A New Hope by Blink, so I was listening to the Princess Leia song in honor of May the 4th. I love Dude Ranch.
It's
It's
such an
just
underrated. I don't know if it's underrated in their discography but like
it's
I don't
just
listen to it as enough as I don't listen to it as uh, I don't listen to it as much as I should.
well, you should listen to it more because it's just the vocals are so good, but I mean so bad, but they're good bad. Um, but yeah, we have some news this week because Brett and I are going to see Sum 41 and Simple Plan in a couple days.
Maybe.
Yeah. So it's an outdoor show and the weather is not looking good. And the band is not looking good either. So Brett, you want to cue the listeners in on the latest news for this tour?
I do. I have a whole weather discussion I want to have with you because I know we've been holding off until the podcast, but today's news kind of upset me a little bit, I want to say, to be nice. I don't want to say anything too mean because ideally I'd love to have someone from Sum 41 on the show someday.
Are you mad
But
at Sum 41 or at the
I'm a
weather?
both
Or at Sum
right
41
now.
being
Both.
under the weather?
Ooh, very good. I see you did there.
Yes.
But I'm mad at the band for their. I mean, I hope they're doing okay. They announced they had to cancel a show tonight because somebody in the band tested positive for COVID. So I obviously wish them the best there. Hope they get well soon.
Of course.
But it's a co-headlining tour. People to that show bought tickets to see them. There's probably fans like you who aren't crazy about Simple Plan.
I'm a simple fan of Simple Plan.
Simple fan of Simple Plan. But so instead of rescheduling the show or just refunding people who don't want to go anymore because they're not playing, they're pretty much just like, hey, Simple Plan is still going to play tonight, so you guys go have fun. What?
Yeah.
That's like, if I go to like a pizza shop and I order a pizza and I go to pick it up and I open it up and it's just like dough with sauce and they tell me, oh, sorry, we ran out of cheese, but it's $25.50. I'm not going to buy that pizza. Like, you have to give people their money back or reschedule. Those are the only two options there. You can't just force it through.
Yeah.
And bringing this back to us for Saturday, if they still can't play on Saturday, are they really expecting people to go out and just see Simple Plan in 30-mile-an-hour winds with heavy downpours?
I don't want to particularly do that.
No. I defend Simple Plan on this podcast, but they're not one of the bands I'd stand out in like a monsoon for.
No, they were the perfect band for this show because I would like to see them, but I'm not going out of my way to see them. I'm going to see Sum 41 and hey, I get to see Simple Plan, who I never saw before. Cool. If Sum 41's not playing, that really throws a wrench in the gears. And it's an extra layer for me because for the Waster, the music blog that I write for, I'm on the list for Simple Plan to like cover them. I just have to cover the show, but it's Simple Plan's guest list that's getting me into the show for free. So like I have to go. I don't think I can just bail.
I was gonna say, so if given the option of a refund or going, what would you do? Now I know that answer.
I'm going, but if it wasn't this extra circumstances, I would save the drive and save the cold. I was excited to see Sum 41 in the rain. Like, would I prefer like a nice 70-degree spring night? Of course, but like, I don't know, just get rowdy in the pit in the rain to Sum 41. Like, it'd be fun. I don't care. You wear a poncho, whatever. So what I think best case scenario here is that the weather is so bad that they have to postpone the show. And then if Sum 41 is still too sick to play, no harm, no foul. We kind of dodge a bullet.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for at this point. Like, it's wrong to be rooting for a postponement, but I feel like again, if we're not going to get some 41, I'd rather get this show in full and enjoy an awesome concert in like a t-shirt and shorts with a nice cold beer and the Asbury sun setting over the stage instead of getting whipped with like ocean breeze and hail and whatever the hell is going to hit us on Saturday. But
Yeah, not to mention it's like an hour drive for me. It's a little
yeah,
closer to home for you, but yeah, it's weird. I could see like the opener that no one ever heard of. Maybe
it set
not.
it off.
Well, I meant like in general,
Oh,
but like if there's some opener that gets sick, it's like the show must go on. But people bought tickets to see the band play like their debut album in full. So
that's another. I was going to touch on that too. They're not being consistent with that so far on
really,
this tour.
they're
Based
not
on Setlist FM,
they're
they're
not
not being consistent.
they're not playing All Killer No Filler.
So they have once the first night of the tour they did, and then Simple Plan didn't play No Helmets that
No,
one.
yeah.
But then the next night, Simple Plan did that album in full, and then Sum 41 did a greatest hits set. So apparently, instead of them playing both albums in their sets, they're like rotating nights on who gets to play which album instead of giving the audience both.
Huh. That is pretty wonky because it was advertised as
It
those
was,
albums.
yeah.
It's also advertised as the Blame Canada tour. So I'm just blaming Canada for all of this, for the weather, for just COVID in general for the past 2 years. Now we know where it
They
came from. It was
blame
those
everything
maple
on
trees.
Canada.
It was Sum 41 and Justin Bieber and Drake and Rush and whoever else. Not Silverstein. They can get a pass.
They definitely get a pass.
Although they're kind of on a shit list too.
Speaking of
This
co-headlining
isn't
tours,
the most positive start to an episode here. But yeah, speaking of co-headlining tours, Silverstein just announced a tour with do you know?
Amity Affliction,
Amity Affliction.
I've
Um,
never listened to before.
I thought it was a clothing line, but that's okay.
Same.
What's with the co-head? They just did a co-headlining tour.
With Beartooth, right?
Yeah, which that's pretty cool, but that didn't come close enough to here to see. But like, I want to just see the band I want to see, and they
With a
can
new
have
record.
openers, and we'll watch the openers. But I don't get the whole co-headlining thing. And
It's
it is it co-headlining? Like, if you can promise me Silverstein's going on last, then in my mind they're headlining. But I don't know if it's that simple as far as set times and everything
I, th-
goes.
I think it makes the opener longer than what we're accustomed to because they play a full set too, in
Yeah.
addition to Silverstein's full set.
I will say I saw a co-headlining tour once that worked very well for me. And granted, it was two bands I liked, but I thought they did a good job. It was Modest Mouse and Brand New. And the way it worked was
At the
Brand New.
Garden,
The one I saw was in Brooklyn, maybe Queens, Forest Hill Stadium. Is that Queens?
that's
I don't
Queens.
know, wherever J. Cole's from, Forest Hills. But it was at the tennis court, and Brand New played when the sun was still up, and like they have their early stuff is like is pop punk. It's fun, like outside music, daytime music, I would kind of put it. And then they have their darker songs. And then as the sun went down, their set ended. And then Modest Mouse came on when it was dark, and they were able to do all like their weird psychedelic weird instruments. Like it just worked. Like each band kind of fit in the slot that they were put in. But a club venue, when you're just like inside like that with two very similar bands, I don't know.
I was kind of hoping for more, because especially coming off like this new album that drops on Friday,
Yeah,
that I'm sure we're both gonna love, like just knowing how consistent they are.
yeah. I mean, maybe we're just salty that like we don't know the other band. Maybe we should
We'll end
listen
up
to them.
liking them a
And
lot.
yeah, I mean, I hope that's the case because I was sad to have missed Silverstein on the Beartooth tour. So like I fully intend to see them on this tour, assuming like the date fits into my schedule. But
The fall tour, summer tour.
I haven't even looked at dates. No, wait. I sent you a picture. I want to say September. Um, I'll pull it up, but yeah, I don't, I don't know. The co-headlining thing, like, is it because they're trying to like garner new fans from like these other bands, or is it a label thing? It just seems like a strange decision.
Yeah, especially like when they're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? I feel like they're big enough now where like
Established.
they're established enough where they should just be headlining by themselves, unless they're going around with like a Day to Remember or a band of like that ilk.
Yeah. Yeah. Playing these, I don't think these guys, they're certainly not bigger than Silverstein. Um, but I don't want to like run my mouth on them too much now because I haven't listened to them. So like that's
No,
not
I haven't
entirely
either.
fair. It's September 24th, by the way,
So it is
at
the fall tour.
Starland. So yeah, I mean, if I can go, I'm gonna go. So we'll see how it goes. But definitely an odd decision to do back to back co-headlining tours like that.
Or at least just bring Beartooth out again for like different venues.
Yeah, that would be nice. But that might just be us being greedy.
Yeah. It's like that one I wouldn't have complained about.
No. Yeah, so I think our biggest gripe is just that we don't know the other bands. So
Yeah.
we'll listen to them and we'll take back all the bad things we said,
I'm
I
sure
hope.
that's probably what's gonna end up happening. But
And you also have to remember, like, assuming it's not like a label smashing bands together, which I don't think is the case because Silverstein, like you said, is established enough. But a lot of times, like if they're picking their friends or picking a band they like, then there's a good chance we're gonna like them. Like if a band you like is vouching for another band, then they at least deserve like our time of day to see if we like them or not.
and I agree with that. It's just I think it's a difference when it's a regular opener compared to a co-headliner because we're gonna have to sit through like a longer set. And if it's someone we don't like, we have like a good like 13 I want to say maybe 16 songs to sit through before Silverstein would come on.
Yeah,
And
instead
as
it's gonna
opposed to
be
like 7 or 8.
yeah. Well, if we wind up not liking them, we just hit up a bar beforehand or drink in the VFW parking lot for
And
an
then go in
extra
at like
hour.
10.
Which like I would always vouch like lean towards pre-gaming inside to see the openers. The only thing is like beer is more expensive inside.
Yeah,
But
that's the thing.
but yeah, we'll see. We'll give them a listen and hopefully eat our words and they can come on the show and tell us we were dicks. Would love that.
Would be completely fair on their end.
We also have another show on Monday. This has been this is our stacked weekend, assuming some 41 happens. But we have
Weather won't
Pup.
impact this one.
No, we have Pup at Starland throwing it down. I am super duper excited.
I am too, especially the fact that they're gonna go 19 songs straight. No
Yeah, no,
encore,
they
just
don't.
that's it. Yeah.
They're not about encores.
Which I'm okay with. Just if you want to get all your songs out, just no need to like go away for 5 minutes, pretend you're done when everyone knows you're not.
Yeah, no, totally. Especially for like a band at their level. Like I could see the big bands. You need just like a pee break, maybe. Um, and then you come back. It always cracks me up when a band like takes a break and people start chanting one more song. And I'm looking around like they're gonna play like four more songs. Like
Yeah.
you're ripping yourself off here. Stop chanting for one
You're
song.
depriving yourself.
Yeah. What are you doing? But no, yeah, I don't 19 songs straight. It's whew.
Like 19 high energy songs. I can only imagine what that crowd is going to be like. I'm
Are you
excited
still
though.
you still enjoying their latest album? It's
I
been out
am.
for like a month.
It's still like that's the one I just put on. I can just relax. Well, not relax, but I get fired up. But
Yeah. Yeah, same. I'm still just as much into it. Um, I haven't been listening to it on repeat like I was at when it first came out, but I still listen to it like maybe once a day.
I've been going back into like their older stuff too, like morbid stuff. If this tour doesn't kill you,
Yeah.
like I forgot how good of a song DVP is.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to hear that one
Oh
live.
yeah. There's another one off that album that they play that I'm not super familiar with.
Familiar
My
patterns.
my life is over, and I couldn't be happier. A nice uplifting title.
Only pop.
I know the chorus, but like I I guess I slept on that album a little bit. Like I think Morbid Stuff honestly might be my favorite by them.
That's probably
But
their best one.
I really like it. I mean, there's also recency bias. Like I really like The Unraveling, and their first album was great. Yeah, they just deliver. Uh I was torn with this. So my friend at work, Lauren, who I've mentioned before on the podcast, she's going, and she messaged me saying they're not switching up the set list. I made a playlist of it if you want it. It's a tough decision for these things because I like to be surprised. I like to have um yeah, that element of surprise at a show. You don't know what they're gonna play, if they're gonna play your favorite song or not. But then when it's a band that I don't confidently know every single song, I want to go in prepared. It's more fun when you can sing along, and that's just a fact. So if I need to kind of cheat, I'm going to. Um, I did take the playlist link from her, and I have been listening to it. I know the first three songs they're going to play because it's at the top of the playlist. Other than that, I've been listening to it on shuffle. So I will still have some element of surprise, but I'll be familiar with all the songs. What about you?
So, yep, I'm cheating. Today, I built a playlist of their set list, and I listened to it the entire day.
There are like, and then I wonder, like, the songs I don't know, am I really gonna like know them by Monday? As far as like singing more than just the chorus,
Probably not, but
you'll be a little more familiar with them.
yeah, at least know like the beats and like when like the
Yeah,
breakdowns are coming up. And
yeah, because they had an EP or like a couple singles that came out at one point with the song Edmonton that I
this
didn't.
place sucks ass.
Yeah,
The EP.
yeah, I didn't even remember that coming out, to be
I don't
honest.
either. That's why I saw the two songs they play off that, and I was like, oh, guess I'll have to learn these two songs.
And it's pretty cool that they still play a couple off their first album.
I was kind of disappointed. I wanted some more from that one.
Yeah, I'm looking now since I didn't actually look at the whole set list, but they only played two, it looks like, which is a little disappointing. But I'm looking at the thumbnails of all the different albums and I'm liking what I'm seeing. I spoiled the whole set list.
Yep. Like, I
just
wish
ate
we
all
got
my
Guilt
words.
Trip from the first album.
Uh, you sure about that?
It's only Reservoir and Dark Days.
It's not what I have.
Unless maybe are they changing the set list up then?
I I am going off what Lauren told me, but the playlist she sent me has Guilt Trip on it. And I've been banking on that. And now I'm gonna be sad. I mean, Dark Days is good too, but it doesn't go as hard. It's more of like a
It's a
happier
calmer
song
song.
as far as pop songs go.
Great guitar riff though.
Yeah. Do 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 do. That's not really good representation, but it sounded better in my head. Yeah, the show's gonna be great.
No full blown meltdown either, which I was a little disappointed by. And
Oh
again, this
yeah.
could all be different come Monday night, but we'll see.
Yeah. I feel like filing for bankruptcy is like similar vibes to,
It is. Yeah.
so I wonder if they take all that into account. 19 songs though. That's gonna be fat. Fat playlist.
It's funny though when you put it all together in one playlist, though, it's only an hour
Yeah.
because of how short their songs are.
Yeah. Like that Edmonton song I'm seeing now. It's a minute 10. So I don't have to bother learning that one.
It's
That
pretty much like a full blown meltdown song.
I can't possibly sing in a crowd for 19 songs anyway. So
No,
I
especially
can't.
with their songs.
Yeah, that at least like some of like the most out of breath mosh pits I've been in has been like Taking Back Sunday, because I have to sing every single lyric while also
Yeah.
running around. And then they have slow songs, so at least I can stop running around at a few points. There's not gonna be any slow songs with Pup. There's like the beginning of Scorpion Hill is it.
But then like you want to run like the mile after it kicks in.
Yeah. I think that's I think that's their best song. That song is a goddamn masterpiece. I love that
And
song.
Kids.
Kids is great. Oh, that whole album is so good. I can't wait. Do you ever feel like I had a weird thought the other day? When a show is coming up, I feel obligated to listen to the band, and then it makes me not want to listen to them. Is that crazy?
Wait, say that one more time. Like listen to
So
them, like seeing them live, or like
yeah, so like the other last week I saw Jawbreaker and I had those tickets for a while. So like the past like 4 months, I'm like, man, I got to keep listening to like this album because I know I'm going to see it. And all this other music's coming out. And there's days where I'm like, I don't really want to listen to this album, but I feel like I have to because I'm going to the show and I don't want to like not be, I don't want it to fall off. And it's just like this weird thing where I have this like internal struggle of what music I should listen to.
no, it's funny you mentioned that because like I've been having that same battle this week, like trying to listen to like Simple Plan and Sum 41. And like I love like listening to like both of them, but like there's a certain band that's going to be coming on our show in the near future whose album I keep going to instead.
Yep.
So I completely get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just there's things that I really want to listen to. And then it's not like I don't like these other bands at all. I just don't like feeling like I have to do things. I think that's
No,
what it comes down to. This might be deeper than music. But yeah, like today I put on Pup for a little, but I was like, I don't really feel like listening to Pup today. but but I'm going to anyway. I'm
be
still super
prepared.
excited for the show. Don't
I am
get me
too.
wrong. But yeah, it's just like an interesting thing. I don't feel like I have to listen to Sum 41 leading up to that. Well, this is when I thought they were playing All Killer No Filler, but I
I mean,
think I should.
hopefully they do.
I think I'll still be
It's
fine.
what a weird like thing to tell people though, and then like not actually do it
Yeah.
for
Although
either band.
I feel like I never actually saw them say that. I've just heard it from a bunch of people. So did we like create this own rumor and expectations?
No, there was an article for. I'm trying to let's see who the source was so we know who to blame.
Canada.
Let's see. Other than Canada, Canada's the country we could blame, but who's the news source?
The
Let's
source
see.
is Canada because that's where these bands came from.
All right, we got NME. Let's see. Yep. Okay.
Enemy.
NME, February
Enemy.
23rd.
Enemy. Is that what they're going for? It's like
Oh,
how I
might be
always called
Enemy.
AXS instead of Axis.
Set to kick off in Raleigh, North Carolina on April 29th, Sum 41 will play their classic 2001 album, All Killer No Filler, in its entirety, while Simple Plan will perform their debut album, 2002's No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls, in full.
Well, I know
Oh, and
who.
then
Oh,
taking to Twitter to share the news, Sum 41 wrote, "We've known the guys in Simple Plan for a very long time, but we've never toured together until now. Introducing the Blame Canada tour. Come celebrate 21 years of All Killer No Filler all across the US."
well, they just want us to celebrate the album. It doesn't mean they're going to play it.
So maybe NME twisted their words.
It's possible. I still blame Canada. Blame Canada.
Wait.
Blame
Also, there's
Canada.
an ad here for Limp Bizkit playing the Garden. I did not know that was happening.
Yeah.
Or though, actually, no,
Yeah,
Mike mentioned that,
we
right?
talked about that
We did talk
with
about that.
Hellriegel. Yeah, I think they're doing a few days. No, just one. Uh, I don't know. I know Rage is doing like 4 days, but
We got snubbed from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
did they? Is that recent news or
It is, I believe, like Eminem got in over them.
uh I don't know. I mean, I like Eminem.
I did too, but like you can't. How do you not put Rage in?
Is it like they don't get in at all now or they just have to like wait another year?
You have to wait another year.
Why was this the year? Like why aren't they in already?
I think they became eligible this year.
Uh so they're doing like baseball rules where they can't be like a first year
I
Hall of
guess
Famer.
so. Doesn't make sense. Like how Variety has a headline: Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's class of 22 has something to satisfy almost everybody, except people who like rock bands.
It's funny. Well, Eminem had "Sing for the Moment" with the Aerosmith riff, so there you go. He's
And
a
that
rock
other,
and roll
what's that other
artist.
song he had?
I mean, he had a lot of guitar songs. He had Revelation was a D12 song, but that had like a pretty sweet guitar riff. And then he did one of his more recent albums had like, what is it, like the I Love Rock and Roll riff or something like that.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy for Eminem. I like Eminem, but weird to not put Rage in. They're like as rock and roll as it gets.
And they pretty much ignited like that rap rock movement, or the like the rap metal movement, I should say.
Yeah, I would think they predate Eminem, or they might have came up like pretty similar time frames, early 90s, blowing up in late 90s, and then they're probably on pretty similar time frames, but yeah, I
Very
don't know.
strange.
Very strange.
Yeah, the performers are Pat Benatar, Duran Duran, Eminem, the Eurythmics, Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, and Carly Simon.
Huh. That's everyone who got in.
Everyone who got in this year. And the ones who weren't picked were Rage Against the Machine, Devo, Tribe Called Quest, Beck, the New York Dolls,
You know,
Kate Bush.
one of your lists sounds way more like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame people than the others.
I mean, Lionel
And
Richie's not rock.
I I don't understand what their decision making is, but I can tell you Rage Against the Machine will get in the Hall of Fame. So whatever.
Oh, and they deserve it.
I could see them just not, because they're a band that I would think wouldn't care, but also would want to still get in.
Yeah, because they're literally a band where like there's every single person in that band is like great at their instrument,
Yeah.
and like no one sings or raps like Zach De La Roche.
No.
So like it's a very unique band, and they definitely more than earn their place
Yeah.
to be in there.
But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is the Machine. So
It is, yeah, which they rage against.
yes. So that's why they have to wait a year, because they've been disrespectful to the Machine, which has also been being fed too much, as we established last week.
Yes.
A lot going on with machines these days. Do you want to get to our interview with Ryan Scottie of Cold Weather Kids? Let's do it.
Who gave like the greatest answer to why pop punk is back.
Yes. Yeah. Stay tuned, because that was super fun interview. All right. We'll catch you guys on the back half. Okay. We now welcome on a very special guest, Ryan Scottie. He is the singer, songwriter, and bass player of LA's own Cold Weather Kids. If you don't know them, they're your new favorite pop punk band that will remind you of your old favorite pop punk band. Ryan, look, smile, lean in, get closer, because in our mind, you're a perfect 10.
Look
Thanks
at that.
so much for joining us. How you doing?
Man, I just got bombarded by a whole bunch of like inside jokes that I didn't expect anybody but my own band members to know. So I'm a little like taken aback right now, and I'm excellent. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. That's awesome.
Yeah, the new single's awesome. We're really enjoying it, both of us. I wanted to jump right into a phrase I said in the intro, your new favorite pop punk band that's going to remind you of your old favorite pop punk band, because
You see, it's one of my reels that I made, right? You saw
Yeah.
that guy?
yeah, I saw it.
We did our homework.
Yeah, so my best friend and I, Adam, who is like my right-hand guy, it's like if I am the idea factory, he's the guy that like curates and says like, this is really good, edit this and get rid of that stuff. So like I'll come to him with like 8 songs and we'll work on like 3 and make them really, really good, kind of that kind of stuff. So in Stolen Summer, he's the main singer because we go back and forth singing wise. It's the 2 of us on that. And I'm mainly actually a drummer. So I kind of write from that perspective. So it's like, that's my drum set behind me. I actually play in a different band from Chicago called Devin K and the Solutions. We have a small deal on Pure Noise. So I've been doing that for like 13 years. And this is just my like LA, like pop punk baby. Like I love the years 2002 to 2008. no better music in my opinion. So I don't try to reinvent the wheel at all. I know that I'm writing stuff that you've heard before, and I don't care because it's what makes me genuinely happy. And if you dig it too, that's all that I really want. I know that like I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And I know that like the naysayers are going to be like, wow, I haven't heard this before. And I'm like, you're right, you haven't. It's just relevant lyrics to today. I mean, you have heard it. It's just relevant to today. That's basically Stolen Summer. Stolen Summer is just like a straight up 2005 pop punk like smash hit with COVID lyrics. That's what we were going for.
That music's like right up our alley too. Like that's what like we talk about a lot, like most of the time on this show. So it's definitely right up our alley.
Love it.
Yeah, you've come to the right place. And you have dual vocals with the guy named Adam who wears Taking Back Sunday shirts. So
That's
like,
right.
I'm sold.
Yeah, that's the like, yeah, he's the TBS. I'm Ryan from Yellow Card, unfortunately. I mean, like Don't Meet Your Heroes Kids, like that's a long story, but like one year I got the opportunity to play Warped Tour and like got the opportunity to hang out with him, and to say he didn't make the best impression on me, so it kind of ruined the music a little bit.
Oh no.
You know, I can still appreciate, I mean, Yellow Card for sure, they made like 3 of my most influential albums on me and my music tastes of all time. And
Yes.
you know, what, you know, it's like I don't want to try and dive too down like the personal alleyway of people, because like everybody's got a story, you know.
Of course not. And your idea to your music is that you want to stay positive with a lot of this stuff,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
which I think we could all use right now coming off the last couple of years. I was looking at your band and I couldn't really find much before 2020. So I was wondering, did you form during the pandemic or did you form before and then just get smacked in the face right away? Like how'd that go down?
So backstory, I guess, in terms of how we like Cold Weather Kids is, yes, we were established in 2019. We put out our first music in 2020. The music on our first release, Songs We Can't Finish, Adam and I have been in bands for like 9 years. We went to college together in Chicago. He's my best friend. We were the best men at each other's wedding, that kind of stuff. And the first band that we had in college in the early 2000 teens was called Glass Castles. And that was more or less trying to be pop punk with a girl singer and Adam and I backing her up. And so we did that for about a year, recorded an EP, and then we had songs kind of working on after that. And then when we all graduated, that was basically it. And throughout the next like 2 years after that, Adam and I would both play in wedding bands and like establish experience. Like, how does it work to play in like a corporate gig? How does contracts work? How does copyright work? Like if you're doing something like a custom song for bride and groom and it's gonna be video, all that kind of different stuff that like as a guy in a band that started out in a garage, probably stuff you don't think about, was really valuable when Adam and I both eventually found our way here to Los Angeles. And backstory and why we're called Cold Weather Kids. I was born and raised in Chicago, grew up in Wisconsin, and Adam was born and raised in North Michigan. We are very much cold weather children.
That's for sure.
And we live in Los Angeles now. So that's one of the things that we get a lot of shit about. So just kind of that was like one of my bullet points. Make sure you talk about this. And that kind of goes with the origin story as well. Our drummer actually came up with the name. Our drummer that's actually not with us anymore, but still a great friend of ours. He just focused more on family life during the pandemic when it hit. And he's going to be a dad coming up. So, you know, priorities change and bands come and go. Adam and I have been in upwards of like 5-6 bands. And the name of like this band before it was Cold Weather Kids in Los Angeles was called Water District. So if you look up that name, you will find pictures of me because I was in the last lineup of that. And a year prior to that, Adam was in the band before I actually joined the band. And so it was like overlap there. I ended up taking the drummer of Water District, getting Adam back, starting Cold Weather Kids, adding a second guitarist, and then our old drummer left. So it's kind of like already been a little bit of switch and swap members, that kind of thing. So that's why when I like make EPKs and stuff, it's usually a lot of focus on myself and Adam, because like he's my best friend and that's like the essential. I can fill in all the drums. He can do every single guitar. It started as just a recording project, me and him wanting to make pop punk songs. And then he's like, I think we should make a band. And we made a band, we started playing gigs, and then we started getting attention. started getting an online audience. Before you know it, we got, holy crap, 20,000 monthly listeners. And this is actually kind of serious. And, you know, being unsigned and owning all of our own masters and copyrights, it's decent monthly income. It's not like a mainstay by any means. Everybody knows who's trying to make it streaming wise on music. You're not going to make a crazy living, but if you own all your masters and you do have a decent monthly following, it's not like jump change. We're not talking about like, you know, Starbucks coffee or anything like that. I'm talking about like it's 3 gas tanks kind of, which is very expensive right now.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it pays to get to shows for us and that kind of stuff. It helped pay for a down payment on our first merch line, you know? So very, very recently, within like the last 6 months, have we taken like more of a turn for, let's play more shows. Let's be a little bit more serious. Let's promote our release more. Because before this last song, Count to 10, came out, Stolen Summer was released it was last July. That was our previous release. So we've just been going one song at a time and really taking our time with it. The whole motto behind our entire band is just no stress, because all 4 of us, well, 3 out of the 4 of us are married, and the 4th was married before. So, you know, we're kind of guys that have gone through it. We don't have that much, I would say, like expectations, not to say that we're not trying to do something with it, but we don't have, I think all of us have had previous younger experiences where we had like the Billboard marquees in our eyes kind of thing. And I want to say, like, I had like a little bit in previous bands, tastes of that kind of stuff. And like that life is a lot of change pretty rapidly. And now the 3 out of the 4 of us being married, having wives, I have a daughter, I have another guy that's got, you know, a kid on the way. You know, we want a balanced lifestyle. We want to be able to play shows and stuff like that. And then we also want a family life. So that's the benefit of being able to live in Los Angeles, is like we can play big, awesome concerts, great opportunities within the surrounding 1.5 hour radius without ever leaving greater Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds super beneficial.
That's basically the whole motivation and story in a nutshell.
That's great. You mentioned how you saw your listenership like kind of go up, like, I don't know if it was overnight or not, but was there something you can pinpoint that set that off, or was it just by chance?
Stolen Summer. It's still a song that's been out for less than a year, and that song has got more streams than all of our other songs combined.
Wow.
It's such a good song, though.
That song hit with the right audience during the right time. There were a couple of bands, Blink, that wrote terrible quarantine songs. Terrible quarantine songs.
We don't talk about that song.
And I honestly, I mean, like, whatever. I'm not, you know, trying.
No, I'm just kidding.
It produced a lot of songs. I wrote a song about COVID. I just happened to think it really hit the nail on the head, and it wasn't cliche. Like that was the thing that was like best about it, is like the more people I showed, it was like there's this more catchy than it is cringy, you know, writing about being stuck inside and being like how many times did you guys during quarantine or being on lockdown, did you guys, well, I finished Netflix last week, so I'm gonna move on to Hulu. It's like I heard that joke like every other day, and it was definitely the inspiration behind that line, I'm so over Netflix, always being stuck inside, because like that was what our lives, it was like video games or streaming services. Have fun.
It's literally a song that every single person can relate to. I think that's probably why it like grasped so many people.
The subject content was good and definitely easy to write about, being relatable. But what really like sold it home for me was Adam's guitar riff.
I was just
gonna talk about that
part out.
Yeah, gonna talk about that and blow that up or something. So that again goes back to like college lore. That was started as a Glass Castle song. So like cool. We had full intention, and it was slower, and we had full intention to like talk about like high school days and stuff. And I just never got around to finishing a demo, and the band disbanded. And then, you know, I was going through old stuff and found that. And I was like, I'm not the guitarist by any means, but like I can edit things in you know, Logic or Pro Tools or anything like that to make it cleaned up. And I took that, wrote the chorus for Stolen Summer, sent it to him, and he's like, all right, this is really good. And then he came over the next day and filled in like all of the leads. So like the lead in the chorus of Stolen Summer is him too. That's awesome. The swing part in the bridge was Adam. That was his idea as well. It's like, I'm telling you, like we have this amazing process of having a writing partner that I can trust and lean on for the last 9.5 years now of making good quality music. And we also have a great producer who I want to talk about as well. He makes it sound amazing, and like his portfolio will like establish why. He's worked with huge names, and it's awesome that he still takes the time to produce a small band unsigned like us. But Adam is brilliant guitarist that can literally be like, I can hum something and he can instantly play it on the guitar. He's got that good of
Love
an
it.
ear. So it's just awesome to ping pong off of him because he always fills in the blanks whenever I hit like any sort of stop sign.
Oh, that's great. That's what you want in a writing partner, because it
Yeah,
really keeps the ideas flowing.
it's 100%
How about
trust.
how about the groan slash scream at the beginning of Stolen Summer? Who did that, and how many times did it take to
No,
get
no,
it perfect?
it was Adam. It
So
was
it really
Adam.
captures that like frustration.
Oh man, I love that I've done like 3 or 4 podcasts now, and I love that we come back to Stolen Summer because I really do owe like the band's like kind of quote unquote, let's like hope it continues to blow like bigger. It's like we see the numbers go up, but we always want more. But anyways, that whole intro part, that slow acoustic where Adam sings by himself and then he does the groan, the drummer and Adam, he wanted to cut that. He wanted to cut that, and he just wanted to start with the guitar riff. And I was like, guys, like, imagine this, or like have some depth of vision for a second. Imagine that this song actually does really catch. And we get a show with like 500 people in the audience and it's packed. And you strum that first chord and the audience just starts the song and they start screaming it back to you at that slower point. Like, now tell me how that makes you feel. And like, that's the kind of vision that I have with it. And so that's why I fought so hard for that part to stay. As far as the groan goes, it was the demo groan. It was the demo one. And he recorded a whole bunch, right, this is the home studio actually right behind me here. I got like the whole thing. He recorded a whole bunch right here. And over again, it just didn't sound exactly right. And I sent it to our producer, Nick, and he was saying this. He's like, I don't know, man. He's like, do you mind if I actually just like chop up the scream from the demo and blend it in there? And I was like, please. Like I think for the demo, that was the one take. And I was like, perfect. That's the idea. And it just stuck. And that's why I chose. I fought really, really hard to keep that part in there because I was outvoted at the time. We were just a 3-piece. I was outvoted 2-1. And I got our producer, Nick Rad, to like vouch for it. He's like, no, it's a good part. It needs to stay.
I can't picture it without it at this point.
It's like, if you don't know the song, or like if you're listening to the song on your own, like with your headphones, maybe you might like skip over it. But like live, if you're going to see us live and like you're going to see Stolen Summer, like I think you absolutely need it. Because when I go see bands that have any sort of gang vocal part or any sort of part that is relatively close to how that feels, like that's the live part of the concert that I believe the audience lives for, because they get to be a part of the show. Right. And that's the big part of why I love to perform, is because if you can unite a group of people passionately joyous about one thing, even just for 3 minutes, a song, then like you don't have to know anybody else in the audience to still have something to be happy about.
Yeah, it's the beauty of pop punk and just music in general.
Totally.
Sense of community, which Stolen Summer talks about losing. But I'm wondering, like, so you wrote Stolen Summer, you said last July or June, somewhere around there.
That's when it came. That's when it came out.
Excuse me. Yeah. So it's been almost a year now, and now you have Count to 10 that just came out. So is there some sort of pressure to recreate it, or are you just, that's a song that, like, how's that feel? Yeah,
it was definitely like,
it's
man, as you have all this success, everybody's like really pumped about it. Hundreds of 100 comments on YouTube on the music video, which we like didn't put like a promotional campaign behind it. And then we had an Instagram reel with Stolen Summer on it that reached 1 million views in terms of social media stuff. When you have that kind of success based around one song, following it up without like a label or resources or a budget, that kind of sucked. So like we have like 4 other songs that are finished, and I just wanted to make sure that the next one that we put out was the absolute best one. And this one was like the next closest that we felt was relatable. I still in my heart, like, I guess I don't feel like it's as smash a hit as Stolen Summer because it's not as relatable universally. I still tried to make it universally relatable, just about being frustrated in the world. Like, you get pissed off. That combined with hearing Fall Out Boy's Dance Dance in 2022. That
Yeah.
was my main inspiration for
The
it.
nice
It's like,
bass drums intro I see
yeah,
now coming together.
exactly. It's like you put those two, you listen for 30 seconds. Oh, okay, I see, right?
So-
Like I said, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I know what I'm going for.
Yeah, no, of course. You say picking the best one, but is it always the best one to you, or is it the one that you think might catch the best, or is that the same thing?
See, that's a great question too. So that's like the impatience, the challenging part is literally letting the final mixes or masters sit for a month with everybody in the band, show it to a small circle of people, see which people talk about what songs, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, that's similar to like when TV shows do testing groups. Being in Hollywood, I have a lot of friends that work in TV, so they'll talk about how, oh, this show tested this way and this show tested this. So I think of that same way before we release music. Like, how can I pre-screen this to be as successful as possible? And a lot of it, again, has to do with timing. So what I'll think is going to hit the best, as you just said, a lot of the times isn't what I feel is the best music. That's the disconnect. And that's, again, coming back to Stolen Summer. I felt like both of those lined up perfectly for that song. So I feel like with Count to 10, I feel like the music is really great. I feel like it is new age pop punk that, again, sounds like old pop punk, with a very, very relatable message behind it that is somewhat silly. So a lot of the demo stuff, I had different talking points, or like, I originally wanted to make it like a TikTok dance, like with like just this cut out, like with your hands, like counting to 10 and try and make that go viral. That was my original idea behind the song. And it came off, the feedback that I got with it was like, you're a guy in your early 30s trying to create a teen TikTok dance. It's a little cringe that way. So I let go of that idea and just made it about being pissed off and frustrated, which I think was a lot easier to write about, instead of making it some sort of catchy visual thing while just counting to 10.
Kind of to jump into that pop punk idea, like, seems like in like 2020 with like Machine Gun Kelly, and like last year with like Olivia Rodrigo, like pop punk is like emerged back into the mainstream. Like, why do you think that is? Like, do you have any opinions on what kind of this new rebirth, or what has brought about this rebirth, I should say?
So can I counter question with what would you say was the most mainstream before that, and how long do you think it lasts? Because I have like in my head what I think it was, but a lot of people honestly kind of tell me different, because I was always in the rock scene. So maybe like, you know, to me it was the DJ era.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is everybody?
I agree with
saying-
that. Yeah, I agree
Right.
with
It
you.
was the
Yeah.
DJ era, and what my hypothesis is inclusion, acceptance. And we're looking at like all these different subgroups of people bonding and gathering for different reasons. And a DJ is just one person. They might have a crew, a hype person, maybe dancers or some crap like that. But vast majority of those artists are just one person standing behind their computer or their board. A band is a lot more chemistry. You know, you can play in a badass group or a badass orchestra, and you only play one night and you never really integrate or meet people. And a band is some people that you spend time with. You learn how they play, the nuances, what their body chemistry is like on stage, you know, where they feel most comfortable. A lot of people have asked me, you know, I'm pretty confident and I'm a big showman when I'm on stage. I like to talk a lot in between songs, and I have no problem doing that. What you're considered going solo? Absolutely not. My confidence in my best version of myself comes from knowing that I have badass players supporting me, behind me, and I'm doing this together. And so that's like my opinion, my reason why I think bands and pop punk in general is coming back, is because it's being found by a younger generation that is usually pretty energetic anyways. And so they're finding high energy pop rock music with guitars that they can play, drum sets, bass, guitars, microphones have usually been, you know, for kids in a garage, somewhat accessible. It's like you can buy a pretty decent Tama, you know, full drum set. Now they sell those whole packages for, they've made it pretty accessible compared to,
Yeah, a few $100.
yeah,
Mhm.
right. You know, compared to like amps that are bigger line that cost a couple $1,000s. Like that's so intimidating for a teenager to see that price tag. And that's like immediately something that they don't believe is possible for them. So they never do it. Right. And I do think that equipment has been smartly packaged in a smaller, more accessible way. And now that we are everybody just went through this global experience where like you had to be by yourself or you had to be with your family. Everybody's really, in my opinion, realizing that like we are at our best when we surround ourselves with the people that we care about, that lift us up, that add to our personality and our skills. For me, it's musicianship, arts, performing. So the musicians that support me, that fill out my band, that take my ideas and polish them and are excited to share the message and keep it positive as well. That's super inspiring to me. And when you get that same type of energy from 4 people in the same room versus just one person who's really driven, like you can be the most talented person in the world, but like I am a person that believes in synergy, like multiple minds working in that same direction. So I think that if you have that and everybody's inspired and they're super happy to be together, then it's going to be successful. And only you can really define that success. Everybody from the outside might be, well, how many records did you sell? How much money did you make? And like, I've done out of the country tours. Like you probably had no idea who I was before this, but you know, it's like I've done out of the country tours. I've done national tours for the past 10 years. And I've had a lot of fun. The records that you see on my wall behind me are records, full length vinyl records that have been produced that I've done in my career that probably didn't sell super amount, but they were successful to me because of the experiences that added to my life. You know, that's why I'm a musician.
Nick, I don't know about you, but that's probably the greatest answer I've heard to why pop punk is back that I've heard. And I'm not just saying that because like you were interviewing you right now, but just like the whole idea of like wanting to connect again. Like I never thought about that before, like why that could be a reason.
Yeah, no, that's a awesome answer. It makes perfect sense when you really break it down like that. We were kind of lacking that togetherness for a while. And then at the same time, we kind of had it in like the weird way of the internet that like we're all kind of like trapped in together.
Did any of you guys discover Twitch? Because I discovered
yeah,
Twitch
big
during the
time.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, exactly. That was another way of like, kind of like Zoom is, but like, it was another way of like having some sort of activity, whether you were watching
Yeah.
somebody game or like me and my friends, like the guy in my other band literally set up like his whole Twitch channel. And every week, once a week, we would just all 6 of us get on and play Jackbox. And then by like the end of the pandemic, we usually had an audience of like 50 to 70 people just watching us play Jackbox as a band during the pandemic.
You see the same names in the chat.
People
and, like,
just
get to
want to like
know
be
each other.
involved. Yeah, exactly. They get like made jokes about it. They got to vote on like, you know, they made it more inclusive that way. It was very cool. That was about as good as it could get. And that was the motivation behind the bridge of Stolen Summer, where you hear me do the phone call to
Yeah.
Adam about a virtual concert. And I'm like, I can't do it anymore, man.
It was fun, but I need people.
I'm starting to think that you're just a face in this box and I don't know what's real.
Leaning into the music like networking side of it, I was scrolling through your TikTok and I was cracking up at some of the videos. Like you had a lot of great ideas. Like I love the outfit changes or the drumstick, just like traveling to the grocery store and getting Cinnamon Toast Crunch was hilarious.
That's credits to Eric, our original drummer. He was super funny as well. Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of it all though was all those great ideas, and your most viewed TikTok was probably the simplest idea.
Yep.
That's funny how that works.
That's how it works, right?
Did you look at that? Like this is what you guys want to watch?
Of course we look at that. And of course it's maddening. The best advice that I always get about TikTok, and I'm sure like if any artist is out there listening, my best advice is to think less about what you make. It's usually the simplest, the stupidest ones that do the best for whatever reason.
Yeah,
right?
for our
I-
listeners, it was them in a garage just doing band practice, hoping the neighbors would dig it. Like that was the
Right.
premise.
And yeah, it was so that guy that pulls back the curtain and like our neighbor, and he's like looking like he's gonna be angry, and then he starts rocking out. Like
Yeah.
again, like another thing that I have to shout out in terms of networking and bringing it together. My dude Marcus Pennington is a social media whiz, and he's not in Cold Weather Kids as a band member, but he is credited to like showing me the ropes with TikTok and Instagram Reels and making it valued as a priority, like in terms of getting your name out there. And here's like the most frustrating part about it is like you'll see those numbers and some of those TikToks explode. So then how many of those people actually go and check you out on Spotify? And
Yeah.
the most frustrating thing is less than 5%.
Ah,
It's less than 5%. So it's like, it's great. It
name
is. If you
recognition.
want name recognition, get it out there. Like there's another friend band that I know from the San Francisco area. They're called First in Flight. Amazing dance pop band with like a dash of rock in it. 2 million followers on TikTok. Only about 10,000 of them know that they're actually a band. Right.
Wow.
Because like their
That's crazy.
their streams and their followers on their actual streaming services don't reflect accurately what people are consuming on TikTok, which is just really short, really witty, funny, or dramatic shit.
Yeah.
Right. The impressive stuff is good, right? It might get some love and some likes, but in comparison to the shit that is sent, like shared back and forth, if it's dramatic, if it causes drama, like an injury or a fight or something like that, versus something hilarious, something accidental. Those are the things that, like, how can you plan that? You can't plan that to go viral or things like that, but that's what people use to get their follower count up.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw the one video you posted. I don't remember where, but it was like, so you got 1 million views on social media. Like, are the labels barging through your door? Have you
Right.
got everything you ever wanted? And you're like, we got a few more listeners.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that reel that you're talking about, the biggest one on TikTok, that it got 100K on TikTok. That same one got 1 million on Instagram. And so
Wow.
on
I didn't know
our
Instagram could reach like that.
neither did we. Neither do we. But I'm dead serious when it's like, that's why we have over 3,000 followers on Instagram. It's because of that reel. And TikTok was pretty steady in terms of our growth. Like the more you post, the more you do kind of grow. I've like within the last month, I've kind of been back on it, taking it more seriously, like every day or every other day. And just within like the last 2 weeks, we have gone up like 100 followers. It's just something that you have to be consistent with and not get down on yourself with, right? Because part of the process that I'm always big about is acknowledging that 99% of what you do in a band happens off stage. So you should do your best to try and enjoy it. And if artists are constantly complaining, getting down, getting frustrated about themselves for making content, which is such a big part of offstage band work, then that means from that equation, majority of the time that you're in a band, you're unhappy. Something's got to change, right? So you should enjoy the content that you're making, make it yourself. Like, yes, trends are fine. Like you use some of the filters and stuff like that, as long as you don't post it with such high expectations, like this has to go viral, because then the disappointment is going to be that much harsher when it doesn't, right? So that's, again, coming back to why Cold Weather Kids' personal band motto is no stress. No stress. We have fun. We have fun doing what we do. We believe that we make good music. It's brought us to people like you, were giving me an opportunity and a platform to talk about it. And I enjoy that, you know, coming onto the podcast, you both welcomed me with a whole bunch of like, you listened, you checked us out, you learned. That means genuinely a ton to me, you guys. Like seriously, like in terms of just being sappy and gratitude for a moment. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. It's rad, and it's why we make music.
Hey, it's mutual because we love talking about it, and it's great that anyone responded at all to come on and chat with us because it's fun. In the end, we're all doing this to have fun, right?
Totally.
And you gave us a chance too, like kind of what Nick is saying. So it's definitely mutual.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
bet.
you got to embrace the positivity. Like I was laughing in the one when you dove into your YouTube comments, and the one guy was like, "Oh, the riff was great," but then it was like Backstreet Boys, and you're just like, "Yeah, you know, I could kind of hear it." Like, did it take you a little while throughout your career to kind of get to that
Oh,
point where you could just laugh at it? Or
oh
like,
yeah.
would
Oh
that
yeah.
comment a decade ago have like sent you spiraling?
Oh, you know, you want me to own up and like tell an embarrassing story? So when in the early 2000s, my very first band, I was in a progressive screamo band as a drummer backup singer.
Nice.
And we got like a small deal, and we did Warped Tour on the Ernie Ball stage 2010, 11, and 12. So as like a young teenager getting that kind of platform, I built an ego. And I don't know if any of you at the time ever heard of a website called Absolute Punk.
Oh
Absolute
yeah.
Punk.
Now it's chorus. Yeah.
Ooh, they tore my band's EP apart, like ripped it
Oh no.
hard, and it hurt, and it hurt to the point where like I wanted to like go like Kevin Durant, pro athlete, get some ghost Twitter accounts and start talking shit. And I think I actually did make an account and like didn't go like to the point of talking shit, but like I tried to like make an ambiguous argument musically why he was wrong and why it was good. And still to this day, I'm pretty ashamed that I did that. But just being honest about it, that was the ego back then. And so as the question was, how long did it take you? That was 15 years ago. So I mean, I was 16, no, I was 17. I'm 33 now. So yeah.
It's understandable to want to defend your work, but it's also, you don't want to let it get to you. It's just a voice
Especially
in the
like
crowd, you know?
the work that you really do try your absolute hardest on. And when you're young and you feel successful and you get that type of attention where a stage where people are looking at you, like I felt invincible. Like I couldn't like, and you know, it was definitely good that that band played out the way that we had success. But by the end of that last Warped Tour in 2012, everybody in that band hated each other because we all had egos and we all couldn't be in the car with each other anymore. We couldn't stand it. And that was the very last show that we ever played was Warped Tour Milwaukee 2012. And like I talked to a couple of them here and there, but like we just unspoken, like that was it. We're done.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And kind of like related to that, like a little random, but like what was it like playing Warped Tour? Like we've been on the opposite end of that, but I can only imagine what it's like to kind of be on that for a summer.
It was hot.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
It was very fucking hot. Okay, so I go through this like in terms of like kind of like high school years. The first year, so we got lucky enough to play a couple of dates, not the whole thing, but a couple of dates, 2010, 11, and 12. 2010, when you're a band, that you get catering, free Monster, because the whole entire event's sponsored by Monster. So like the first year we like go through, bring a whole case of Monster to our own merch tent and stuff like that. And like before we play usually at like noon or 1 o'clock, relatively early, but we were always after the Battle of the Bands. Like we played on the Ernie Ball stage, but we weren't a part of the contest. We play like after that. And or we were last just because our name started with a W, which was near the end of the alphabet. I honestly can't remember, but we always played later, not super early, but it would give us time to drink like 2 or 3 Monsters. And honest to God, like by the end of that first leg of that tour, we were all so sick from drinking so much energy drinks. Like it was like a minimum of like 4 or 5 every day. And we were so sick because it just
Dehydrated.
really cleans out
caffeine.
cleans out your body in the worst way. Second year, 2011, was really cool because we had a different mindset. We knew what not to do. So we tried to do our best to like integrate with bigger bands, which was when I started the podcast talking about, I got the chance to meet and hang out a little bit with Yellowcard. And maybe it was because I was a young Punisher, you know, like, and I define Punisher as like a kid who somehow made it backstage who won't shut the fuck up with all of his questions. Because was trying to meet and get to know any of these other bigger bands that had this huge platform, and how did they get there? What did they do? How did they do it? Who did they talk to? Because I wanted to know. I was on Warped Tour. The next step was getting to where they were at. I needed to know how to do it. And a lot of those guys within 5 minutes didn't want to give me the time of day because it was jacked up on Monster. And I was like 10, 12 years younger than them. Like, who's this kid? Like, I played an Ernie Ball stage. Oh, congratulations, this fucking kid, you know, some shit like that. All right. That's kind of how it felt in 2011. I did the best that I could to meet as many people, to learn as much as I could, to play as well as I could. And then 2012, like I knew after the second day that it was just like, all right, this is like the end. So I just like started smoking a lot of weed.
There you go.
And like,
That'll help with the
yeah.
heat.
I was like, how do I want to say this? And like, I just got, to like, to make it bearable with not fight with everybody. I would like, meet, play our set. And like, that was it. We wouldn't see each other until we had to load out and drive to the next place. And like, it just got to the point, I'm not even joking, you guys, were like load ins and load outs were like wordless. You wouldn't say a word to anybody. And like, we would just play our set like we were best bros. It got ugly in that first band, but that's some people have that journey, and I did. And what it did for me is it humbled me. Like I did love the Warped Tour experience. I really did. It was awesome. I do wish it would come back because I think a lot of people would super eat it up.
Oh yeah. You're talking
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a great experience. But in terms of like what it did for me over that stretch, it humbled me. I did learn a lot. I learned that if I was going to have like an ego, it's because like afterwards for like the next 2 years, from like 2012 to 2014, nobody wanted to play with me. Nobody wanted to play with me. And it forced me to take like a look in the mirror in terms of like, what am I doing to turn people away? And like, I developed some dickish asshole tendencies and, wrote cocky, jaded kind of stuff or talked down on people who I didn't think worth my time. And like I said, it humbled me. So when I went to college and then I met Adam was such a stand-up guy and pretty like straight shooter, and he was like athletic and he was a trainer. And I was a little bit more artsy and let's say I tend to explore partying. And I, was like smoking weed a lot more. We went to an art college in a big city. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
I talk about my adolescent drug youth on camera. Damn it. What am I doing? Jesus.
We've all been there. It's cool.
But yeah, so Adam is like another thing that like he's like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna work hard at this. We're gonna do it like the right way. And he helped me like get a day job in Chicago and stuff like that after graduating college, and helped connect me with the wedding band route. And so like that was another experience that definitely helped build some skills and some things that I had to take a lot more serious when applying it to original band like Cold Weather Kids, right? Like I talked about both of us being in a wedding band, and like how those days were literally from like 1 PM to like 3 AM in terms of load up, get to the venue, sound check, meet with the bride and groom, all that kind of stuff to make sure everything's checked out. It's like, obviously the day is not as packed as that is for like an original band concert, where the lineup is like 4 bands to a bill, half-hour set, right? Pretty simple. You get your shot. But a lot of those gigs don't have full immersive sound. And that's another thing that we've gained experience with, is like the studio that I've been able to build within like the last 2-3 years because of my amazing wife has allowed us to like work on miking drums, miking guitars, having a controlled sound. We play with backing tracks, which sometimes is controversial to people, but in my opinion, like you're playing to a click. I've integrated like a light show with it when I have the ability to set it all up, which I think is really cool. It's all these different things that we took from different experiences, Warped Tour, wedding bands, making online content through Twitch, and kind of brought them all to like what we're doing now. So with Cold Weather Kids, I haven't been on Twitch in a while, but I personally made all of our music videos. Like I dabbled in animation. So I don't know if you watched the You're My Player 2 video, but that was like, Adam loves that song, the whole video game thing. And he really pushed for like make a video that uses like everything. And so I did for like a couple months during the pandemic. What else was I going to do?
Yeah.
Made all of those graphics in Photoshop and animated it and had him come over when he could. And like the shots with controllers is literally just like looking at a camera with like pretending that something's there. And it came out pretty awesome in terms of a do-it-yourself animated music video. So all of it has been trying to do most of what I can ourselves to, 1, save on budget, 2, make us seem multi-skilled and attractive to maybe a label or management that's like, these guys are low risk, high reward because we don't have to pay for X, Y, and Z because they already do it themselves. That's another thing that I've tried to really take serious in terms of like what do you do off stage to make yourself more successful? And that all plays into everything that we were just kind of talking about in terms of booking shows, getting bigger concerts, getting podcasts, interviews like that. It's just wanting to connect with anybody, whether it's 2 or 200.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Pure Noise before. I was just saying before you jumped on the call to Nick that like I'm shocked that they haven't gobbled you guys up yet with like all the pop punk bands that they signed.
I wish, let me tell you. So I am lucky enough to right now, like I said, I am a part of that Chicago band that is on Pure Noise Records. We are probably the smallest band on Pure Noise Records, but if I can give them some love for a second.
Yeah.
Devin
We love
K.
Pure Noise.
Yep, they're called Devin K and the Solutions, and I have been the drummer and the backup singer for the last 13 years in that band, and we signed a 3-album deal with them last year.
Congrats.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, that's great.
So really, really stoked about it. The first album, which you see on the wall behind me, the first album dropped April 1st at the beginning of this month. So I flew into Chicago, did some shows there. And now the biggest thing that I'm trying to do for Cold Weather Kids is we're currently in the running for a contest to maybe open for Lit at the House of Blues.
Yes, I had written this down because I wanted to ask about it. What's the deal with that?
So we know a guy, we've been lucky enough, I should say, to meet an awesome guy that's very involved in like the Southern California music scene who calls himself the OC Sellout. He's super exuberant, awesome, energetic guy that like is easily identifiable by wearing flat brimmed forward baseball caps, bearded Hawaiian shirt, and he calls himself the OC. So like that's his like
Nice.
He looks like that every time, every show he goes to. So it's pretty easy to pick him out. But he runs a couple of contests for like tickets and stuff like that. And I guess maybe he knows some of the guys, if not all the guys from Lit personally. And Lit, you know, doesn't play as active as they used to anymore, but they're playing the House of Blues in Anaheim on June 17th. And they partnered with him to run a contest where they're going to allow one band to open, or a band that participate. I don't know if there's more bands after that before Lit, but there might be just be 2, there might be more. I'm not really sure. But what I do know is that this contest that's running right now, I think we have a pretty good chance to make the top 5. I did spend, I think, a pretty decent fair amount of time producing and making the video. And I you know, did a cover, as a lot of bands did. It's if not their most popular song, My Own Worst Enemy, which everybody knows, right? A lot of bands did a cover of that to try and like make their entry, and I did as well. The thing that I think separates my video is the literal use of me being my own worst enemy, like being down on myself. So in the video, I'm literally like pitching myself, kind of wearing what I'm wearing now, the blue shirt, the brightness, and then myself in sunglasses, all black, just like, nope, you suck, it's not gonna happen. So it's like trying to be literal with the song while also covering it to get the attention. And at the end of the video, I did some somewhat creative shots where it looks like I'm playing music with myself, or I'm rocking out with myself. And I just did like a shot of where I'm playing guitar and drums, and I kind of masked it so it's happening at the same time. And that's my entry. The top 5 most creative videos get handpicked by the members of Lit and the guy running the contest. And then it's a vote off. Top 5, most votes gets to open. So if we make top 5, I got to find a lot of people to give me votes.
All right. Well, you got a platform right here. So.
Yeah, that's right. So
We'll get it out there.
Yeah.
I super appreciate it. It'd be an absolute enormous opportunity. It would easily be the biggest show that Cold Weather Kids has ever played. We're talking about 2.2 thousand people, like 2,200, I think, is the House of Blues cap in the big room. So that would be incredible.
Now I gotta ask, like when you were in the wedding band, how many times would you play My Own Worst Enemy? Can you even count?
Oh, so no, it wasn't like that kind of wedding band. It was like more top 40s wedding band. So
Okay.
everything from like
My Wedding Spoiled us.
Yeah, Justin
Nick,
Bieber, Kesha, that kind of stuff to also like the classics like Earth, Wind and Fire, Jesse's Girl Summer, say that kind of stuff. So it wasn't going to be like He didn't really have, my boss was like one of the best drummers that I ever got to learn from. He's in his mid 50s now. When I was playing with him in his late 40s, it was a lot of like 70s, 80s, and like current pop radio stuff. It wasn't really anything 90s or 2000s. Very rare. They had a couple Spice Girls and Backstreet Boys songs. So it was a lot of like radio stuff, like I said.
Yeah. Now that all the 90s and 2000s kids are getting married, now it's going to be time.
Yeah.
Because I know my wedding, it was
It's-
like pop punk
we were
for like
spoiled.
2
Totally
hours.
true. That's actually been one of the most surprising things about like just being in a pop punk band or being in like an original band is the amount of people that are actually asking us to play their wedding and play both originals and covers. And they're
Oh,
saying,
it's great.
like, do the covers your own way because we like your band, but just do the songs so we know what to sing. And like that makes total sense. And I guess that's becoming more and more of a thing.
And on the topic of weddings, I have one of my last questions here. You recorded a video at your own wedding for
I did.
that. I love that idea. It looked like a
I
ton
did,
of
I
fun to
did.
go down. Obviously, all your groomsmen and your wife, everyone was just totally on board, as if you didn't have enough to do that day.
So my wife didn't really know what was going on. Yeah, the idea came up. I mean, I'm sure you saw my TikTok. So I like played it like in a super nutshell. Like my only plan was to go bowling. I love bowling, and then go back to my buddy's apartment and drink and party. And I had my whole groomsmen there, and my buddy's apartment just happened to be Adam. And Adam and I, you know, we ended up using it as Cold Weather Kids material, but we actually weren't in a band together at the time. We were just writing and recording and just hanging out every now and then. And that evolved into like a session where he's like, why don't you just like write a song about getting married? And like he pulls out his guitar and like plays like a riff or something like that. And like within like 2 minutes, I threw it into like this like 1.5-minute idea. And then I was just like, I'm getting fucking married. And it's like, that's it. That's the hook right there. And then like more of my friends started to arrive. So I got them on gang vocals. The front man from my first band who I talked about with Warped Tour, he's the guy that screams on the track.
I was going to ask. Yeah.
So he's one of my groomsmen as well. Yeah. And then one of the guys that plays guitar is Devin from Devin K and the Solution. So it's like I had all those people there. It was like at the time when I got married, I wasn't playing in any band. So it was like really, really awesome for me to do that, because it was like just starting to get that back into my life again. I got married in 2017, and my 5-year anniversary is actually this Saturday.
Oh, cool.
So it'll be 5 years, the anniversary of that video this Saturday, which is pretty cool. So we wrote that song entirely in a drunken daze at my bachelor party. Then the person who was hired to do video for the entire wedding, she was just in the area staying at like an Airbnb, like, and I was like, you're right down the street. You want to come hang out and like drink with us? It's totally fine. So she came and she just starts videoing some of the process, which is what made it into the behind the scenes video. And then she was like, you know, you guys should just all get dressed up. And when you go on site tomorrow, you should just get some shots, like lip syncing this. And like, I could throw it in the wedding video. And I was just like, or we could make a whole music video. Because like I like took that and was just like, let's do this instead. So we did. Like my wife had no idea what was happening because she was getting ready. Like you're not supposed to see the bride the entire day of. Like she went to the place we were getting married the night before, and I was back in LA, like 45 minutes away. So when I drove up with my groomsmen early, like about half hour earlier than originally planned, it was just so we could get on site and shoot this stupid video. And we shot everything. It was awesome. And then as the ceremony was happening, it starts pouring. So it rained super hard during that. So like the whole video looks super sunny and beautiful, but then there's one shot where there's like water dripping off of a leaf. And that was right after it stopped raining. And I had to get one shot where my wife and I were walking with my groomsmen behind me near the end of the video. And she was like, what am I doing this for? And I was like, just look happy, we got married. And she saw me lip syncing the song. And afterwards she was like, what was that song? I was like, long story, you're going to see it in probably like a week. I made a music video, love you. And that was like me telling her that like I did this before we got married, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
you know, some guys play
Yeah.
golf the morning of. You made a music
Yeah.
video. It's all.
Yeah.
It's all good.
You guys, I really, really appreciate your time. I know that I've ranted and I've talked, but I
Oh
tried
no,
to
it's
be
been fun.
This has been
cool.
awesome. No,
Ryan, before
appreciate
you
you coming
go,
on.
Yeah.
what are some of your other bands that you've been in, like on Warped and like, you know, some of the records on the wall? Just
So
curious.
Warped Tour was a band called Whispered Hallows, like Deathly Hallows of Harry Potter, Whispered Hallows. And if you YouTube us, you'll find a bunch of stuff. We were bigger in the Midwest area from Wisconsin in the late 2000s to early 2000 teens. We had a 6-year career from like 07 to 2012, as I said. And it was a good time. We did a grand total of 10 songs recorded, one EP and like 3 singles. AP Magazine, a couple of stuff like that. I talked about Devin K and the Solutions, the band that I showed the sticker of. I've been in that band the longest of any of my projects, 13 years, and that's where I still get to play drums. And the really cool thing about that is probably where I've met the most people. I've gotten the opportunity, like our producer for that band is Mike Kennerty. And if you don't know who that is, he's the guitarist of the All American Rejects. And
Oh,
so
wow.
that connection has been really cool because I'm the one that records and edits most of our music before I send it to him, which has allowed me to develop a personal relationship with him. It's like somebody that I ask questions about mixing or editing, and he's been super helpful that way. And they, as a group, have been awesome in terms of trying to vouch for us. All American Rejects doesn't play that many shows anymore. But in February of 2020, they came back to play a Chicago show that they allowed us to open for. And that's been the biggest show of my career to date. That was a sold out Chicago show for 2,000 people. And it was just our 2 bands. So it was really awesome to have that. The wedding band that I was a part of was called Green 14. They're still active in Chicago today. I still do some video work for them today. My boss, Patrick Duty, fantastic professional musician, very, very well known in any sort of like wedding industry in the Midwest. He's played all over Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, Indiana, Ohio, that whole region. Water District is the other band that Adam and I were a part of that you can find on Spotify. Adam has, like, it's funny. That's like, you can hear music that is from Adam and I when Adam and I weren't in the same band at the same time. It's really funny. I mean this, like the songs were recorded. Adam played all the guitar. He quit. They were unfinished. I joined as a bass player, filled in all the backup vocals. So it's like the recordings of Water District have Adam on guitar and me on backing vocals, but we were never in the band together. That's kind of funny that way. Yeah. And I already talked about Glass Castles. Glass Castles, I don't think is on Spotify anymore. We only released 1 EP and didn't really do that great. And I think there's 1 song on Spotify. And then it's just Cold Weather Kids. And that's been the baby that Adam and I have poured a lot of energy and attention into. I already talked about how Songs We Can't Finish is actually old Glass Castle songs molded into a new package.
When can we expect these new? You said you have 5 finished songs. Any plans to release them soon?
I got one that's being mastered and being like finished off. And the premise of that song is just, what are you afraid? Like the last song is like, what makes you angry and can you dance it out? This next song is just, what are you afraid of? And the kind of inspiration behind that was me being really afraid of the show Are You Afraid of the Dark on Nickelodeon.
I love that show.
Yeah. And so the next song that you'll hear for us is a bit harder. And I think it's the hardest that Cold Weather Kids will ever go. And then I plan right after that, within the holiday season, to release the poppiest song that we've ever done, just to keep you guessing.
Hell yeah.
So I do hope for 2 more songs by the end of the year. That's what I'll say. Lastly, if it's okay to plug, because I just forgot, I think I mentioned it once, we have our very first merch line. 2 awesome, great shirts. If you're by chance interested in checking them out, it's Cold Weather Kids, all one word, .bigcartel.com. Really, really happy with how both of these shirts came out. Both of them have some relevance to Stolen Summer. The black one has the lyrics on the back. We all need something to look forward to, because we do, right? And the white one has the picture as the drawn artwork of the guy on the couch. I call him just 2020 couch guy. And it was just a dude that was super stoked for concerts, festivals, and all of them were canceled. So he's
With
just
all of us.
Yep. So he's just laying on the couch in his underwear. There's a poster of 2020 ripped in the background. And it's like that, like, you know, that's I'm proud of that as well. I drew that. So it's like me bringing back the visual skills a little bit. And that's visually what 2020 meant to me, because I had all those plans to tour and play shows and, you know, make music. And I got to play a couple shows in January. And then I played that one All-American Reject show in February, which I just talked about. And then the pandemic happened. Wacky.
Ryan, this has been so fun. If you're ever near Jersey or on the East Coast, we'd love to check you guys out. I know you said you stay close to LA, but
Nick, Brett, well,
knows?
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you in June, I don't know if we're close to Jersey, but I'll tell you in June, the Devon K and the Solutions are going to be in New York.
oh, right on.
It's very close enough. So
So
I'll keep an eye out.
we're on tour June 22nd through the 28th, and we're going through the East Coast loop.
Cool.
All righty. Nick, Brett, it has been a pleasure, a privilege to get to know both of you. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for listening. And hope you two are great and have a fantastic rest of your night.
Thanks, Ryan.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too. We'll talk soon. Good
You
luck.
got it.
And we'll
Thanks
vote.
again, Ryan.
We'll vote for the lit contest when we see you in the top
Appreciate
5.
that. It'd be huge.
Scoop bop beep boop bop 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 a doop. Yeah, we're back. We are back. Hello, Brett. How you doing?
Hello, Nick. Good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the other side of the show. Here we are. How's it look over here? It's nice,
Side
right?
B.
We flipped the record. It was a fun interview.
Awesome interview. It
Yeah.
actually raised a question that I want to throw to you, or I raised a thought, I should say.
Ooh, what do you got?
I've always found it like fascinating how like bands come up with a guitar riff and then it just sits there for a while. And meanwhile, like they're sitting on something that's like gonna blow up.
Oh yeah.
But then of course it doesn't happen until they actually put it out. Like in like Sellout, like how they talked about Green Day, like how they wrote Time of Your Life back around like the Dookie days, but
Yeah.
it didn't come out for like another 4 years.
I can say as an amateur guitarist who's very popular in his own basement that the spiders here really enjoy my music. I will write guitar riffs and they'll just sit in like voice memos or like a folder on my computer, some for years. And then sometimes when I try to write a song, I'll just flip through them and then you find one where you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Like, let me try and like expand on this. And
Yeah, I just think that's
yeah.
awesome. Like it's like a music nerd thing, but like it's just so cool to me.
yeah, who knows what like hit songs are just sitting on like a desktop unfinished right now.
That makes you
Wild.
think.
Or think about all these bands that have songs that they just don't think are good enough to release and we would probably love.
Yep.
Like I'm a huge Mac Miller fan and he has like hard drives of music that are just not out there to the world. Some songs get leaked and they're awesome, but like just knowing he has all this music out there, just like I hope I get to hear it someday.
Yeah, I feel like all the leaked ones of his that you showed me, like I've loved.
Yeah. And the leak ones were all like pretty finished because I know like his family and friends, like it's a touchy subject. Like the songs aren't as he wanted them. Like he didn't find these songs to be ready to release. So it would be it could be considered disrespectful to them release them. But
So that's why they haven't officially released.
yeah, it's like it's definitely a tricky situation. I would think from like all the things I've seen of Mac that he would want his fans to hear the stuff, but he was also a perfectionist, so maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I hope they put out some more albums, but who knows? Who knows? Speaking of albums, we got a few new ones coming out this week.
A handful.
We have Silverstein, which we mentioned before, which we're both, that's got to be like my
Most anticipated
yeah,
for the weekend.
sure. Yeah, probably of the year so far, as albums I've been excited for to come out. I mean, there was the
That's a
Cold Years
safe bet.
album, but
Yeah.
I wasn't anticipating that. That just like fell out of a tree and hit me in
Just
the head.
happened.
Oh God, I love that album. But yeah, Silverstein. Do we know the name of this album?
Misery Made Me, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And there's 3 singles, and I have inadvertently followed suit with you. I have not listened to these songs.
Welcome to the club.
I think I might have listened to Ultraviolet, which is the first one they put out. The other 2 I have not listened to. Maybe snippets on Instagram, but not enough for me to like recall them. So I'm going in fresh, just like you.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, just based on how good the last one was, because like it just seems like they're somehow getting better, like the older they get, which is like very rare for a band to do, but they're somehow pulling it off.
They're honing their craft.
They are.
Yeah. And
Like
they're having
the-
so much fun.
I was gonna say the new guitarist, I feel like just gave them like a second wind, and they've been pumping out like really, really great stuff ever since he joined the band.
When was that?
That was 2013, 2012.
2012. So around maybe How the Wind Shifts.
That one. Yeah, that's his first album. What's his name? It's bothering me now.
I don't know off the top of my head. I just know Shane is the main guy. And then
I don't get it. You're having a brain fart.
I'd have to Wikipedia it to know.
Paul Mark Rousseau.
Oh, shout out Paul. You rock. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait for this album. It's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be a headbanger. It's gonna be screams. It's gonna be singing. There's gonna be heavy guitar. There's gonna be light guitar. They do it all, and they do it so well. 22 years they've been around. God
That's
damn.
crazy.
It really is.
And they've done like 4 separate anniversary tours of like discovering the waterfront.
yeah, yeah, seriously. And we keep going.
I had to do Shipwreck in the Sand one time.
Oh man, that album has one of the best intros. A Great Fire, or
It's so
is it I
good.
Am the Arsonist? Whatever. Like
The riff on I Am the Arsonist is
yeah,
and
that's
the
got a
breakdown on that
killer
too.
breakdown.
That's Broken Stars, right?
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, as I started doing it, I realized I was wrong. Whatever. It's good enough. I'm sure I had some dananas in it.
Did-it-didn't, 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 did-it-didn't.
I can't wait.
Little
for
mouth
this album.
Silverstein for everybody.
You nailed it. May 6th. We're so close. We're so close. Oh, Friday's gonna be sweet. I think I'm gonna put on first thing in the morning. I'm just
I'm
gonna
gonna
like
do
start off my
too.
Friday at 100%. What else is coming out Friday?
And Simple Plan, who we discussed at the top of the show, is putting out their new album too.
Oh,
So at least when you're forced to go, you'll have some new material, maybe.
that's just what I want. Simple Plan to play songs that I don't know.
Because they're gonna have to play like a double set because Sum 41 won't be there.
Do they have a name for their album? These are things we could have looked up in advance.
I know. I dropped the ball there.
No, it's cool.
We're doing it live, people.
Do it live. No, I don't know. But we'll find out in 2 days.
Harder than it looks.
Oh, that's a good name. I feel like it's in like their.
I mean, the song with Derek is really good. I've been listening to that one a lot. Ruin My Life. As a non-single guy, I've been listening to that single a lot.
Whoa. I don't even see it. Oh, here it is. Ruin My Life. There's a bird on fire. That's cool. Oh, so yeah, I guess they're making songs together. Sum 40 Simple.
Simple 41.
Yeah. I haven't listened to Simple Plan in a very long time. So I'm actually pretty excited to see what they sound like these days.
They were awesome. They played Warped Tour, the final Warped Tour a couple of summers ago. Like I went home and ended up listening to them for like 2 weeks straight after that because of how good they still were live. So at least like
I
they
love
do put
that.
on a good show. So I'm like, not that we were bashing them at the beginning, but
No,
they're just not like we wouldn't voluntarily see them by themselves necessarily. I don't think.
yeah. No, I personally wouldn't, but it doesn't mean like I think they're bad or anything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm excited to see what they got. And then the last album we have,
Yeah. I put this one on there.
Arcade Fire, who when I hear their name, I think of like music festivals.
They do play a lot of festivals.
They seem like a music festival band to me. And they seem like a band that I would recognize songs if I heard them, but I can't tell you Arcade Fire songs.
So with them, I'd probably only recommend The Funeral and The Suburbs. Like I got really into The Suburbs like during COVID, that first COVID summer. I think it was like the 10-year anniversary of that album coming out when they won like best album at the Grammys for it.
Are they like kind of like folky?
A little bit, but they have some songs that go really hard too.
Huh.
Not like really hard, but
Yeah, like they got like blues guitar that kicks in,
they
maybe.
just sound big, like a
Okay,
big rock band.
that's cool.
Like this song, what's it called again? It is
I'm looking at their biggest hits. I don't really recognize
Empty Room. If
Empty
you listen to
Room.
that song on The Suburbs.
All right, I'll add it to the list.
And the song The Suburbs and Ready to Start back to back. It's just, I love that album. So definitely recommend that one if you've never listened before. And supposedly this new album, We, is like a return to that sound.
Oh,
So
right
I'm
on.
curious to hear how it is.
Okay, so I'll listen to this tomorrow, and then I'll listen to their new album Friday.
And everything in between, like there's a lot of debate amongst fans whether it's good or not, because they really made a push towards like pop and it doesn't work a lot of the time, but some people think it does work. It's almost like a Weezer argument in a way, but
Yeah,
a different band.
yeah. What makes a good radio song might not be what the fans want, but it might be what
Exactly.
brings the band the bucks. So
So a lot of new music this week,
yeah,
in addition to the concert prep listening that we'll be doing.
yes, a lot of new music. I have some old music I wanted to bring up.
Oh,
A little Hey Remember segment. So, hey, remember Finch?
yes.
Dude, when I was at the show for Jawbreaker last week, Finch came up and we were just like talking about bands. I completely forgot about Finch and this album, What It Is to Burn, with like the Ice Cube tray on the front or
It
whatever
turned
that
20
is.
this year.
Really? Oh, they should tour it. I would totally go to that.
New Beginnings.
It's so good. Every song is good on this. I
Stay With Me.
I used to listen to this album all the time.
It's truly a classic that I think is still like under the radar a lot. Like you said, like people don't really think about it until
Yeah.
it comes up, until
Like-
they come up.
were they ahead of their time? Like, I don't know why they weren't more popular, or maybe they just were a one album wonder and they just couldn't follow it up. But because this came out 2002,
They were a little
It's
ahead of their
like-
time.
that's like kind of right when like screamo was starting. Not that I'd call them screamo, but they're like definitely on like the heavier side of emo with like Thursday, Silverstein, who else?
Under Oath.
Yeah. Yeah, Under Oath, Census Fail, Hawthorne Heights, like all that. They're right in the mix with that. So I think they're on the earlier end. I mean, Thursday probably has them beat, but as far as those other bands go, I think Finch was probably ahead of Census Fail and Hawthorne Heights.
There are some interesting tidbits on the Wikipedia page for What It Is to Burn.
Is there
Supposedly,
anything?
like Jeremy McKinnon of A Day to Remember said that this album is the reason they formed as a band.
Wow. That's pretty huge. Thanks, Finch, for giving us a day to remember.
Right. And then throwing it back to the beginning of the show, supposedly the Amity Afflictions Chasing Ghosts, their album from 2012, was massively influenced by What It Is to Burn.
Wow. Did we just
So we've got homework now.
bring an episode full circle on
We did.
complete accident? All right, wrap it up. That's it. We're out of here.
I gotta
That's
listen to this
amazing.
album now.
The Amity Affliction or What It Is to Burn?
Amity Affliction. Although it sounds
Both.
a little dark. It says the theme of this record is death and suicide.
Oh, well, that
So
would
I don't
fit
know
in
about
with
that.
early 2000s emo music for sure. Um, yeah, this Finch album, it still holds up. I had it on today and yesterday, and just every song is good. Um, I saw them live once. It's either Warped Tour or Bamboozle, and they played like first thing in the morning, very early, and I was one of like not many people in the crowd, and they still like performed as if it was like a loaded crowd. His voice sounded awesome, so that always stuck with me that they were able to bring it live because that counts to me. If I like a
Counts even
band and
more.
then see them shit the bed live, it kind of takes
It's
takes a
disappointing.
little off. Yeah.
Did
But
you like the album after this one? Say Hello to Sunshine?
I honestly never listened to anything other than this album. I
There's
just
some good
listen.
ones
Yeah,
on there. Got ink and bite marks and bloodstains.
I'll put it on. Yeah, it
I
was one
think
of those things where
ink you'll recognize.
there's some bands where they just have one album I like so much, and I just never bothered to listen to others, which is definitely like stupid because if you like an album that much, why wouldn't you listen to other stuff by the band? But sometimes
You get hooked
I
on
don't
the
know.
one.
Yeah, just like that's all I need. It's what it is to burn. But that's like who else? Well, I could save it for another Hey to Remember, but Hey to Remember.
A hate to remember.
I hate to remember. But Armor for Sleep was that kind of band where
That's a good
What to
one.
Do When You're Dead, like that album was one of my favorites of all time. And they put out other stuff and like I maybe listened to it once, but that's all I need from them is that one album. I haven't gone back to that in a while either, but now we're going on a tangent. But yeah, What It Is to Burn by Finch. Definitely give it a listen, see if it holds up. I think it does.
Will do. And I think actually follow-up question to live bands. How was Jawbreaker? I was waiting to ask you until we were
Oh
on the
yeah.
show.
Dude, so good.
Good. Okay.
Um
I was worried they were
yeah,
gonna be like disappointing.
no, they were like a little more jammy than I thought too, which always makes me happy. Like they were so good at their instruments. Um the songs were all spot on, but you could the drummer actually, I meant to write his name down because it's worth it's worth saying. This guy like carried the show for me. He was just so locked in and like just a master at what he was doing. What's his name?
That
Adam
Baumeister?
Adam
Bauermeister?
Adam Fowler, if I'm saying his last name right.
Oh,
But
Bauermeister's the bass player, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
then Blake Schwarzenbach is lead and guitar. But yeah, so I'm at Irving Plaza and they were phenomenal. Like I'm so glad I went to the show because I was kind of on the fence about it. I had to like bail on my uncle. He wanted to see Godsmack for some sort of like radio rock fest thing.
One of my
And it
buddies
was
was at
like
that show.
we had tickets and then it got rescheduled a few times and it wound up falling on the same day as this. And I just I went with this one. And to be honest, I'm really glad I did because I don't know when I'll ever see them again. Probably never, to be honest, but they were awesome. And I got this cool little I got this pick tin. And it
Hickton.
has pick tin. And it has all these little picks inside with like lyrics and like pictures on it. Pretty cool. I'm trying to buy less t-shirts. So if I could find a piece of merch for like $15 or cheaper.
Like a koozie.
Yeah. Big fan of koozies, pins,
I like
patches.
koozies.
They were selling a teal blue vinyl of the album, but it was like $80. So I wasn't
Yeah,
gonna
it's
do
a
that,
lot.
but it was
It's a
pretty
lot for
sweet.
vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, phenomenal show, phenomenal album. And they they were um like founded this type of music for so many people, like so many bands that we listened to, like credit Jawbreaker to starting it all. So
I wish we were
it's cool
around
to
like
see
when they
that.
were like bigger. I feel like we definitely missed the boat on them.
Yeah, we were like 5 years too young for a lot of stuff, which
Yeah.
is so little, but it was just enough where like we kind of missed some of those early stages. But we got the early 2000s, which I find a lot of the people 5 years older than us didn't lean into as much. So I'll take it. I
I'll take
mean,
it too.
yeah, whatever. But yeah, it was a great show. We real quick thing about getting there. We drove to Secaucus to take the train into the city, and there was a brush fire on the tracks, so we couldn't leave. So we wound up driving into Hoboken and taking the path in. So we missed the Warriors, or just Warriors, I think was the opener.
At least
But
you got there in time for them though.
yeah, yeah,
Jawbreaker, I mean.
it was fun. But I've never had a brush fire prevent me from going to a show before in New
That's definitely
Jersey.
a first.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. But yeah, it was a great show, great time, great adventure. Just love it. Love it all. I'm
And more
excited
adventures
for
coming
yeah,
Saturday and Monday.
yeah.
Maybe Saturday.
I know. I know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what
Pony does
happens.
have that weather policy, which I looked up today, that they do postpone shows, so it's not
Yeah.
automatically
So
rain or shine like the art center.
we either want some 41 to get healthy, or we want it to really rain hard.
Give me a new date at this point. If they're not going to play,
Yeah.
give me a new date.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to
agree.
I don't want to get my money back. Like I want to see them live again.
Yeah.
So
And I want to see All Killer No Filler. So if they don't do that, I still want my money back.
but I mean, if it's postponed
Yeah,
to like
honestly.
when this new album comes, like I'd gladly go see that too.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, I love like all Sum 41's
I do too.
song. Like I've seen them a bunch. They're not going to play anything I'm going to be disappointed with. But I did have my heart set on seeing that album. And they
Me
can play
too.
that album in like 20 minutes.
It's
Just
literally
play
a
it.
half hour. Yeah.
Just play it. And then you can play your other songs. Come on. You made a promise to NME. So
They did play some good old stuff though, it looks like too.
uh
I don't know if
I
you want me
bet.
to tell you or not, but
I mean, I'm sure like We're All to Blame is in there, and
I'm
the
talking
Hell
like pre
Song
All
and
Killer No Filler.
pre. I thought that was their first album. Is that
You never
not their
listened to
first
Half
album?
Hour of Power before?
Oh, I really like have not actually. I think I put it on once.
You
That's
gotta
like
listen to it.
where their like original logo comes from. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know some of these songs. Grab the Devil by the Horns and
Yeah.
yep. Makes
But
no difference. Did they re-record that? And Summer too.
they re-recorded Summer on All Killer No Filler.
Makes no difference. I might just know then.
That's
I
like one
didn't
of my
realize
favorite
that
songs
was-
by them.
Yeah.
Machine Gun is good.
Oh, cool.
Remember What We're All About?
Uh
Like they pretty much rap at the end. It's like on like the Spider-Man soundtrack.
oh, that's awesome. I don't remember that. I might remember if I listen to it. But yeah, it's gonna be a great show. I hope it happens.
I don't know. I keep looking at this weather
yeah.
forecast and like I don't know if I want it to happen.
Yeah, fair. I just hope whatever does happen happens definitively. So
yeah, and not
I'm
at like
not-
4:45.
yeah, because if I know in advance I'm getting my whole Saturday like off, then I can make new plans, or I don't know, do something else.
Yeah.
Find another show that's inside. Or we could set up an interview for Saturday, because we got lots of great interviews coming.
Big one.
Big, yeah, we got
Well, big to us, but I think also should be
Yeah.
big in the near future.
yeah, definitely biggest yet, and we're super excited. We'll post some like hints on social media, but we don't want to say it
Jinx
yet.
it.
Yeah, we want to hype you guys up, and yeah, it's gonna be good. We're real excited about it. Big things coming. I think that's our show for today. Do you say, Brett, wrap it up?
I think so.
All
We've
right.
complained enough about the about Sum 41 for the day.
The theme of the show: weather is bad. COVID is bad. But
We're in
yeah,
our 30s now, so we're like old men yelling at the cloud. Old man
literally,
yelling at the
we're
cloud.
literally yelling at the clouds.
Literally. That's a perfect
Uh,
note to end on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you everyone as always. Do all the things if you remember to like us and subscribe and whatever. It would help. But either way, thank you for listening. And we'll see you next time.
With some new Silverstein that we'll be breaking
Yes.
down.
Hell yeah. All right. Peace.
Love you guys.